Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Matt. I just finished watching an interview for a podcast for a mentor of mine, Matt Platt, and he interviewed a CEO of 112 location franchise businesses, a couple of different concepts and things in there for the restaurant industry. But one of the things that stood out to me is the quote that's at the top of this here: "You're a fool." And that is what this CEO of the franchise brands said about if you're not doing these two things. So I'm going to share with you really quick here in this video what he was talking about specifically, because he said he's seen doing these two things turn around franchises and turn around struggling franchises faster than anything. A little bit about his background. His name is Ray. I won't divulge his full name, but he previously has been in the restaurant industry at pizza places like Domino's, Subways, owned a bunch of different franchises and turned a bunch of them around. That's why he's where he is right now in his life. But the two biggest things that he talked about in turning things around: number one, don't be an ostrich owner. So don't go and then bury your head in the sand when problems arise and other things arise, or just around your restaurant in general. You got to be present with everyone there, because everything starts at the top. So if you're an owner who's involved, who's happy, who's upbeat, positive, treats people well, that's going to continue to flow down through everyone in your organization, and they're going to see that you care, and they're going to care. If you don't do that, well, then the same thing is going to happen. They're not going to care. They're not going to care about the product, and your restaurant will suffer. That's number one. Number two, advertise. He says most restaurant owners, you don't advertise enough. You're not advertising enough. And one of the quotes that stood out to me that he said is that advertising is the opposite of keeping it a secret. And why in the hell would you open a restaurant and keep it a secret? You wouldn't. You would tell people about it. You'd tell as many people as you can about it. And advertising is the way to do that at scale. So he talks about not only advertising using Facebook, Instagram, and social media, but throwing in some other mix in there, throwing in some radio, throwing in some billboards, throwing in some print advertising as well, if that makes sense for your brand. But I'll tell you what, for me, you know that I'm all about social media advertising, and I know one of the fastest ways you can get in front of a ton of eyeballs, and we know, if you've seen the previous videos of mine, that attention is currency. Attention will transfer into money the more attention you get. So get attention, get the maximum amount of attention. Don't keep the fact that you have a restaurant, that it's open, that you have great food. Don't keep it a secret. If you think all of these things about your place, don't keep it a secret. Tell people about it and advertise. And Ray says if you're not doing those two things, that you're a fool. Because soon what will happen is your restaurant won't be there. And this is no more poignant of a point right now than the times we're in, right? With the struggles and the things that are happening in areas of the country as far as restaurants go, with having limited seating and different things like that, and restrictions placed on them. There are restaurants that are succeeding, that are up huge year over year. Clients that I personally work with up 90% and more year over year, because they're getting the attention. They're advertising. They're doubling down. I have an owner who talked to me right when this started with COVID. And she said, we're going to be the only ones left standing in our area because we're doubling down on everything we're doing advertising-wise. Everything they're doing, not just with us, everything. And the fact is, they are. They're crushing their year-over-year numbers. They're hitting numbers they never thought they would hit as far as revenue on a monthly basis. So I want to encourage you, if you are watching this and you're a restaurant owner, if you share this, if you know a restaurant owner, you share this with them, please do those two things. Be in the restaurant. Be present in the restaurant. Everything starts at the top. And number two is advertise. Don't keep your place a secret, right? Advertising is the opposite of keeping it a secret. So don't do that. That's all I got on this video. See you guys on the next one.